The images that you, the audience, are currently seeing on the screen could very well be a glimpse into the future of modern warfare. No, 5 Seconds Unfiltered is not referring to a doomsday scenario where artificial intelligence, or AI, is attempting genocide or enslavement of humans as seen in movies like Terminator or The Matrix, so you can rest assured. Instead, in today's video, we will explore a much more palatable scenario. In the context of humanity's rapidly advancing scientific and technological capabilities, conflicts worldwide are witnessing the increasingly common use of robots in combat activities to the extent that many experts believe this is an inevitable trend in the future. With the active presence and participation of these machines, how might they influence the face of global warfare or even replace human warriors? All will be revealed shortly. A robot is defined as a machine programmed by a computer capable of performing actions automatically or semi-autonomously, including complex tasks. So, technically, the types of assets that any modern military possesses, such as unmanned combat aerial vehicles (UCAV), precision-guided munitions, guided missiles, unmanned ground vehicles (UGV), unmanned submarines, are all considered robots. Today, most of them, when in operation, require human intervention for control, guidance, or mission setup. Meanwhile, many organizations, including both private and government entities, pioneering in robotics, are in the process of researching and developing fully autonomous robots with advanced artificial intelligence, capable of making decisions without human direction. Notable examples include companies like Boston Dynamics, Ghost Robotics, and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, under the United States Department of Defense. However, the goal of most organizations, especially private companies, is not to completely replace the presence of human soldiers on the battlefield. In fact, they have publicly and firmly declared that they do not pursue any form of weaponization for their robotic products. Moreover, using robots as instruments of war, even if deployed by any entity, including the military, is considered reprehensible and highly irresponsible behavior. However, despite that, with a brain inherited from Homo sapiens ancestors, who invented tools of war to annihilate other human tribes and seize dominance on Earth, humanity is, and will continue to produce increasingly intelligent and advanced generations of combat robots. In the future, when we look at battles, we may see armies of machines engaging in combat instead of flesh and blood soldiers. Before such an almost certain scenario unfolds, join 5 Seconds Unfiltered in exploring some robot models considered to be the foundation for the emergence of intelligent machine warrior generations that will coexist with humans beyond the front lines. Please look at the screen. The robot with an appearance resembling a pack mule in front of you is the Legged Squad Support System, or LS3. This product is researched by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, under the Pentagon, aiming to create a legged robot serving as a weapon-carrying transport for an infantry squad or marine unit. It can carry a maximum load of up to 180 kilograms, allowing soldiers to minimize the weight they carry or increase the quantity of weapons and equipment. This enables a squad of soldiers to carry more than usual. Additionally, LS3 has a sturdy armor layer capable of withstanding powerful gunfire, ensuring that the cargo inside remains undamaged. In urgent situations, this steel horse can also become a protective shield for human teammates. Furthermore, the LS-3 robot is programmed to move agilely on various difficult terrains, self-adjusting to maintain balance and swiftly execute voice-commanded tasks such as starting the engine, following, advancing, stopping, or shutting down the engine. In a 2012 test, LS-3 could move at a speed of 8 kilometers per hour on rough, rocky terrain and run at 11 kilometers per hour on flat ground. Similar to its predecessor, the Big Dog robot by Boston Dynamics, co-developed with the U.S. NASA Aerospace Agency and Harvard University, LS-3 operates well in harsh environmental conditions, regardless of heat, cold, humidity, or ice. In addition, DARPA engineers have equipped it with a pair of 3D cameras. For those unfamiliar, this type of camera has 2 or more lenses with separate image sensors or film frames for multiple lenses, simulating the human eye's binocular vision to create 3D images or capture distant photos. Along with that, the LS-3 camera also integrates light detection and distance measurement devices, allowing this robot to follow human guidance and record accurate information. However, despite these advanced features, by the end of 2015, the Marine Corps stored LS-3 and did not widely deploy it due to limitations such as loud noise, difficulty in repair and maintenance, and a lack of integration into traditional patrol operations. Nevertheless, researching and creating prototypes of LS-3 has provided us with important insights into the second-generation robot. In contrast to LS-3, the next robot model that 5 Seconds Unfiltered wants to introduce, widely used by many law enforcement and rapid response units. Let me introduce Spot, coming from Boston Dynamics. It has a shape no different from a small, agile, and flexible dog. Spot is indeed the perfect candidate for reconnaissance missions. Moreover, like a real guard dog, Spot can play a protective role at crucial locations. It is equipped with thermal imaging filters and a 360-degree field of view, making fictional detectives like Hyuga in the Naruto manga, who possess Byakugan eyes, envious. Additionally, Spot has impressive durability in harsh conditions. It can even run through fire in the literal sense. Through the previous robot model, the audience can probably notice that despite having many advantages, both LS-3 and Spot do not have the ability to replace human soldiers. Not to mention the features. To perform combat activities like humans, robots must first have a human-like shape. Therefore, experts believe that the warrior robot model that can replace humans will look like Atlas. That is the robot currently performing running, jumping, and parkour flips in front of you. Atlas is a humanoid robot primarily developed by the company Boston Dynamics under the sponsorship and supervision of the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA. It was first presented to the public on July 11, 2013. Like many robots at the time, Atlas is designed to replace humans in performing tasks in dangerous environments, such as handling radioactive waste or rescuing victims from explosions. Imagine if, in disasters like Chernobyl, Atlas teams were involved in dealing with it. Casualties and damages could be significantly minimized. However, the feature that makes Atlas the #1 candidate to replace human soldiers lies not only in its appearance, but also in its advanced artificial intelligence, enabling learning ability. This means that every time it fails in a specific mission, Atlas can collect data, detect mistakes, and rectify them. Furthermore, Atlas's AI system must continuously analyze information to help it perform tasks more efficiently and achieve better results. This is considered how a well-skilled and particularly dangerous humanoid warrior should be created and operated. However, once again, it must be emphasized that Boston Dynamics does not research Atlas or any of their robotic products as war weapons and vehemently condemns such efforts. They also warn that such actions will pose a threat to the survival of humanity. Despite this risk, many countries' militaries around the world, especially large nations like Russia or the United States, have disregarded Boston Dynamics' warnings and actively developed robots for military purposes. However, the process of creating humanoid robots like those in sci-fi films by these enormous military forces is not without challenges. Sky-high costs, insufficiently developed scientific and technological expertise, and limited production capabilities are the main obstacles. Nevertheless, with their powerful potential, they will sooner or later overcome these difficulties. So, let's join 5 Seconds Unfiltered on a time machine journey to the future, where robot soldiers will make human military personnel retire to the garden. Currently, humans can move with much greater intensity, speed, and flexibility than machines. But in the end, we are still humans with physical limitations and cannot continuously operate without rest unless we want to burn out quickly. Meanwhile, as long as the battery lasts, a robot can still operate with 100% efficiency. And over time, battery technology will be advanced enough to provide future robotic soldiers with enough energy to fight for many hours with just one charge. Furthermore, robot soldiers will have higher endurance than humans. The protective shell made of high-tech materials can withstand impacts, bullets, heat, and radiation, making them almost unstoppable by conventional weapons. Even if hit by a grenade to the face, with chest pierced by bullets and limbs shattered, they will still hold their ground and retaliate. This not only preserves human lives, saves mission execution time, but also creates a powerful psychological blow to the enemy. An army consisting entirely of tireless, painless, and fearless warriors is indeed the worst nightmare for anyone to face. Moreover, in case of damage or deployment in harsh environments, such as scorching deserts or freezing polar regions, these robotic soldiers also have the ability to self-adjust to ensure that they can still accomplish their assigned tasks. Furthermore, AI brains, no different from supercomputers, will continuously process data and information at high speeds, allowing robot warriors to make immediate decisions without hesitation or emotional influence. This factor enhances their combat skills significantly compared to humans, thereby significantly improving the mission success rate. In addition, the sensors and cameras equipped on these robotic soldiers must be extremely advanced and accurate, making every shot they fire highly precise. Standing in front of the barrels of robot soldiers, even the most talented marksmen in human history, such as Ishimova or Lyudmila Pavlichenko, can't escape. In the language of CSGO gamers, if placed in a match, they might not be opponents for these robotic snipers. Moreover, using robot soldiers instead of humans will significantly minimize casualties and allow the military to carry out missions without being hindered by the risk of harm to human lives. This is also the most important reason for turning robotic soldiers into the future of warfare. Before carrying out any military operation, strategic experts must consider the balance between the level of danger and the benefits gained when the mission is successful. If the mission requires a large loss of life, the benefits must be proportionate to the blood and bones shed by the soldiers. For example, in the Battle of Stalingrad, the Soviet Union suffered casualties of over 1 million outstanding individuals, But in return, they created a decisive turning point in both political and military aspects, shifting the tide of World War II and enabling the Allied forces to switch to the offensive on all fronts. However, with the appearance of robot armies, commanders can reduce the worry of solving this cumbersome problem. Now, instead of considering the lives of soldiers, they will have to balance the cost of producing robots and the risk of losing technology to the enemy against the benefits achieved. But even so, that is still a relatively cheap price compared to human lives. This also means that the military will easily accept carrying out missions that were previously evaluated as having high risks, sometimes to the point of being irrational. In the context of urban warfare, which is a common form in modern conflicts, sending a lone infantry unit deep into the heart of a city teeming with enemy forces is an extremely risky and unacceptable action for any commander with more than 3 brain cells. As 5 Seconds Unfiltered has previously analyzed in a video, on the defensive side in urban combat, as territorial defenders, there is a significant advantage. They can use the terrain to move and actively choose the time and place to launch surprise attacks, making it difficult for the opponent to respond. Meanwhile, the attacking side, even with careful preparation, still has a high chance of being in a vulnerable position. And if that happens, it's very difficult for the advancing forces to carry out a safe rescue. However, if the unit sent there consists of robotic warriors instead of humans, everything will be different. They will fight relentlessly until the mission is completed, advancing directly into heavily fortified defensive areas or gathering accurate information. At this point, the command doesn't have to consider withdrawal if the robotic unit faces strong enemy resistance. At the same time, if they need support, they can send an aircraft for airstrikes or simply deploy more robotic soldiers to eliminate any threats. Regardless of the method used, human soldiers still don't have to appear directly on the battlefield, facing dangerous risks to their lives. That's the physical aspect, but what about the mental aspect? For human soldiers, experiencing PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder after completing a mission or returning from the battlefield is not uncommon. For those who don't know, this is a type of anxiety disorder that can develop after a terrifying event that the patient witnessed or directly experienced. In it, severe physical harm occurs or is threatened. PTSD has been found in many veterans who have experienced intense combat, where they regularly faced situations of killing or being killed for an extended period. So, it's not surprising that surviving soldiers often have to live in fear and anxiety for the rest of their lives. Therefore, PTSD is also called shell shock or post-war fatigue syndrome. According to some studies, approximately 4 out of 5 soldiers have at least one person experiencing psychological issues, including PTSD, as a direct consequence of military service. This is a very serious issue that military forces worldwide have been and are struggling to address by providing necessary support measures for veterans, ranging from healthcare to psychological recovery to social reintegration programs. Of course, to maintain these activities, the government has to allocate a considerable amount from the state budget. In contrast, machine soldiers with artificial intelligence possess no emotions, feelings, or self-awareness. Instead, their software consists of code lines allowing them to self-learn and adapt. Therefore, robots are proven not to be susceptible to any psychological disorders. They never question their missions and are always in a state of readiness, being deployed on the battlefield repeatedly, without experiencing fear or any impact on their mental state. Thanks to this, the government can save a significant amount of taxpayers' money to invest in more beneficial activities. And most importantly, human soldiers can avoid enduring psychological traumas. Although bringing countless benefits, the use of robotic warriors is not without its risks. One of the most obvious issues is whether the artificial intelligence of the machines can make rational decisions in highly sensitive situations. For example, in a war scenario, issuing orders like eliminating enemy targets might be straightforward, but executing them is not easy, especially when there are civilians around, and a small mistake could lead to the innocent bloodshed. Imagine a terrorist group holding hostages inside a building, and robotic soldiers are deployed to resolve the situation. What would they do? Would they set a bomb to blow up the entire building, or rush in to eliminate all enemies regardless of the potential loss of hostages' lives? Or if programmed to rescue all hostages safely, would they decide that the best course of action is to do nothing and let the terrorists continue their rampage? In reality, we can't know until the situation arises because AI is designed to analyze each specific scenario and provide the best course of action based on the information and data available. Besides, like any other computer system, machine soldiers, no matter how complex, can still be vulnerable to hacking. Although their artificial intelligence systems will be equipped with numerous firewalls to protect against unauthorized intrusions by hostile electronic warfare forces, vulnerabilities still exist even in the most advanced systems. For instance, the servers of the U.S. Space Agency, NASA, have been hacked several times, as reported by the media. You can search it on Google to find more information. Imagine a scenario where an entire army of robots is hacked by enemies to turn against their own masters. The consequences would be enormous. Hacked robots could launch surprise attacks on critical targets such as military installations and government buildings, assassinate leaders, or even dismantle a nation's entire communication network. Moreover, they could be reprogrammed to become infiltrators, gathering intelligence and waiting for the opportune moment to launch internal subversion, collaborating with the enemy, and pushing the military into dealing with threats from both within and outside. This is the main reason why those advocating against the weaponization of robots have been using this as a central argument in the ongoing debate about whether or not to use automated machine soldiers in war instead of humans. And here, our journey to explore the potential impact of robots on the face of future warfare today has come to an end. To our viewers, do you believe the scenario of armies of destructive combat robots replacing humans could happen and should happen? Besides, are there any benefits or drawbacks to using robot soldiers that 5 Seconds Unfiltered has not mentioned? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. And now, goodbye, and see you in the next videos.